If you would like to get this talk as a PDF, please click here. Once upon a time, in a bustling city filled with dreams and aspirations, there lived a young woman named Amara. Amara was beautiful inside and out, a beacon of warmth and kindness to all who knew her. But as she looked around, she couldn't help but notice that many of her peers were lost, chasing empty pleasures and meaningless pursuits. Seeing their pain, Amara's heart ached. She wanted to help, but felt unsure of how she could make a real difference in their lives. One day, feeling disheartened, she sat down on a nearby park bench under a towering oak tree. As tears streamed down her face, an old wise woman approached her. Sensing Amara's sadness, the woman asked if she could sit beside her. After a while, she gently inquired about the source of Amara's sorrow. With a heavy heart, Amara poured out her feelings of helplessness, confessing her desire to help others, but feeling stuck in her own life. The old woman listened patiently, her eyes twinkling with understanding. When Amara finished, the woman shared a story about a tiny bird she had seen earlier that day. It was a bird whose feathers were dull and lifeless, lacking the vibrancy she knew they once possessed. The woman explained to Amara that this bird, much like her, had been created with inherent beauty and potential. However, it had allowed fear and doubt to dim its natural brilliance. Amara pondered these words, realizing that the same might be true for her. Could she, too, have allowed fear to dull her own inner shine? She had always loved the story of the ugly duckling, and found solace in knowing that beneath her flawed exterior, she possessed an inner beauty waiting to be recognized. The old woman continued, "You see, child, each of us is born with a unique song within us, a purpose that sets our soul on fire. But often we let fear, societal expectations, or past hurts hold us back. We forget that we're not meant to simply exist, but to shine, to inspire, and to uplift the world." The woman paused, allowing Amara to absorb these profound words. "Your purpose," she said, "is like a guiding star. It may not always be visible, but its presence guides you nonetheless. It's what gives meaning to your actions and brings fulfillment to your life. Without it, you're like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the winds of uncertainty and change," she emphasized. It's essential to find your purpose, not just for yourself, but for everyone you touch. Your purpose is the essence of who you are, and it needs to be nurtured, explored, and embraced. As Amara digested these teachings, a spark ignited within her, rekindling the passion that had been dormant for so long. This encounter under the oak tree marked a turning point for Amara. Inspired by the old woman's words, she began a journey of self-discovery. She realized that her purpose wasn't just about helping others, but about helping them discover and live their own purposes. Amara started small, offering a listening ear to a friend in need, lending support to a neighbor facing hardship, and volunteering her time to causes close to her heart. Through these acts of kindness and service, she found joy and fulfillment. She understood that while she couldn't single-handedly solve the world's problems, she could make a difference in the lives of those around her. Amara's story serves as a reminder to each of us. We're all like that bird with dull feathers, capable of extraordinary beauty, or like the protagonist destined to find their purpose in helping others discover theirs. It encourages us to recognize the transformative power of purpose and the impact we can have on the world. It urges us to seek inspiration from those who've walked similar paths, to nurture the unique gifts within us, and to strive to shine brightly, knowing that our light can illuminate the lives of others. The world needs our unique songs, our individual purposes, and when we share them, we enrich the lives of ourselves and everyone around us. Now let's continue with the main text. Life as a symphony of purpose. Life unfolds like a vast symphony, with each one of us entrusted not just as mere spectators, but as composers, performers, and conductors of our own unique movements. At the heart of this grand opus lies purpose, a guiding principle, a North Star that gives coherence to our actions and meaning to our experiences. Without it, the notes of our days risk becoming dissonant fragments, but read through the lens of purpose, however, they form a powerful melody that carries us forward. Think of purpose not as a static destination, but as the evolving theme of your personal symphony, one that grows in richness and depth with every challenge overcome, every connection deepened, and every insight gained. When you rise each morning with the flame of purpose burning within you, even the smallest tasks glow with significance. The first sip of tea becomes a ritual of gratitude. The conversation with a friend, a chance to give and receive nourishment. The effort you put into your work, a meaningful contribution to something beyond yourself. Yet living purposefully is not always smooth. The tempo of life includes moments of cacophony, setbacks that bruise the heart, failures that sting with self-doubt, and uncertainties that cloud our path. But it is precisely in these dissonant moments that purpose reveals its true power. It's the steady pulse that refuses to relent, that whispers, "This too is part of the song." When we lean into hardship rather than retreat from it, we begin to see adversity not as an interruption, but as a movement in our composition, a place of forging, of strengthening, and ultimately of transformation. Our resilience is nurtured by this realization that giving up an idea of perfection frees us to appreciate the beauty in imperfection, the beauty in living. Like a virtuoso who has practiced wrong notes until they become part of the whole, we learn to integrate the flawed, the messy, the unfinished into a tapestry that is uniquely ours. We come to understand that our mistakes are not disruptions, but rather opportunities for improvisation and for arriving at something deeper. Self-compassion, humility, wisdom that est when our limitations cease to be barriers and become instead the very canvas upon which our authenticity is painted, stroke by imperfect stroke. Purpose also unfolds outward in the ripples of our interactions. When we engage with others through compassion, kindness, and integrity, we amplify our own song by harmonizing with theirs. A genuine smile, a kind word, a moment of attentive listening, these are the chords that bind us, invisible threads that weave our songs into a communal symphony. There's profound power in recognizing that one person's melody can elevate another's. Just as a single note on its own may fade, but when woven with others, can contribute to a vast and resonant harmony. Over time, our composition accumulates layers, like the rings of a tree that mark its growth. Each year adds texture, experience, and depth to who we are. We come to see our journey not as a straight line, but as an evolving symphony with recurring motifs, joy and sorrow, triumph and struggle, giving and receiving. And just as the most moving symphonies traversed both light and dark, so too does a life deeply lived hold space for joy and grief, for victory and defeat, for emergence and letting go. In the quiet moments when the applause has faded or when the audience is absent, we turned inward and asked, did my symphony express my true self? Did I live in a way that honored my values and passions? Did I make music that echoed beyond my own stage? These reflections are themselves acts of creation, helping us refine subsequent movements. Most of all, we come to appreciate that the beauty of our life symphony doesn't depend on grandeur or fame. You don't need to fill a concert hall to have music that matters. A melody strummed in a friend's living room, a verse written at dawn in solitude, a gentle act of service, it all becomes music of consequence. Because true purpose is not about applause. It's about depth, intention, and the courage to keep playing even when the world is silent. So at any stage, whether you're at the opening crescendo of youth, mid-movement of your prime, or entering the quiet adagios of later years, remember, you are both the composer and performer of a lifelong piece. Keep listening to your inner melody, willing to pause and adjust your tempo, to add new themes, to explore harmony with others, and to embrace discord as part of your evolving composition. In the end, we Dante just want to have lived with, want to have composed a life that resonates beyond our years, a life in which the final chord lingers long after the stage is empty. We want the echo of our purpose to carry forward in the hearts of those we've met, the seeds we've planted, the moments we've shared. And even as our hands rest from the instrument, the music continues in memory, in legacy, in the countless lives we've touched. That is the grand symphony of life, not a single performance, but a collection of moments and notes each contributing to a deeper work. So honor your theme, embrace the dissonance, harmonize with those around you, and play on with courage, authenticity, and purpose, because your life is not just something that happens, it is a masterpiece that you're creating, moment by moment, a symphony that matters.